Cavers always think they know what they're getting themselves into, but sometimes the cave has other plans.
That's comforting. Human bones, huh?
Like when these cavers discovered a human operation, or when this duo found themselves face to face with a wild cougar. These are 6 of the most disturbing cave discoveries ever recorded, starting with James and Edward, 2 expert cavers with nearly 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Safe to say, they're no strangers to dangerous situations, but this particular exploration is about to take a turn they never saw coming.
This thing's a death trap.
It started when a landowner invited them out to his private property, claiming to have a cave on his property that neither he nor his family have ever dared to enter. And as you're about to see, that's probably for the best.
He says he threw a rope down it with a rock and it was 200 feet deep.
As they entered the cave, they're immediately faced with a drop well over 200 feet, something which already makes this cave very unusual. However, this is just the beginning.
Is that where we go? Dude, there's so many bones down there.
Look, there's bones everywhere.
This thing's a death trap.
Look, they're scattered in the ground.
Finding bones in caves isn't all that uncommon. However, it doesn't take James and Edward long to realize these aren't the ones they're used to.
That's comforting. Human bones, huh?
Look how big they are.
That's just Johnny. He went missing a couple years ago.
Among the remains, they find a long bone, a femur, and a piece of a cranium. What they don't know, however, is that these bones likely tell a darker story. Based on the way these bones have been left, specifically the broken skull, it's very possible these could be the bones of a cannibalism victim, or at the very least, the remains of a brutal murder. But even with all these unsettling discoveries, the twins continue exploring the cave until the very end, thankfully managing to get out without adding themselves to the pile of bones. On May 23rd, 2018, a team led by this man, Bo We Met, took it upon themselves to explore the Pit of Death. This isn't their first time at the friendly named cave. However, you see, the last time they were here, they discovered a hidden room completely sealed off deep underground. Now they're returning to figure out what's really going on down there around that area. The entrance alone is terrifying, a straight drop of over 100 feet. And once they land, they're faced with another drop, a drop which by all definitions may as well be a vertical death trap.
A giant room that we think held bears.
As they anchor a makeshift ladder, they spot something that stops them in their tracks. Claw marks, big ones. Whatever made them wasn't small and definitely wasn't friendly.
Look at the claw marks! I think those are claw marks. What do you think, Lindsay? Think those are claw marks? Yeah. They look like claw marks. See, maybe even up there even. I think these are claw marks for sure too. That's probably raccoon size. You can see claw marks here. This is the bear pit. And this is over my head. I mean, well, head level, that's at least 5 feet off the floor.
Before modern hunting technology, natural pits like this were often used as bear traps, and it's quite possible this was one of them.
Ooh, that's scary looking.
But there's another theory. You see, the claw marks may not belong to a predator at all. Perhaps they're from animals caught in a flood, clawing the walls as the water rose.
These are claw marks. That's where something was down here trying to get out. And look how tall it was. I mean, it's, you know, our height, so it's probably a bear.
This whole thing is covered in claw marks.
Yeah. Man, there are a ton of skulls down here. This is a death pit.
But as the team goes further down the pit, they discover something. Bears weren't the only ones that had been down here.
It looks like writing, huh?
Yeah, that probably is. Yeah, that's definitely writing. I can't read the date.
Neither were they the only ones to die there.
It's a giant bone. It's either human. It could be human. Could be human or bear. Maybe. Have the doctor take a look at it. Look at all the skulls, man. Look at the joint on it though. Look at all the skulls in there. That's a big skull right there. It keeps going. So 1922, so people have been in here. 1764. I don't know what that it's not human, obviously.
It's most likely this balloon belonged to an adult black bear, but that's not what gets Bo's attention. because he then goes on to discover a series of Masonic symbols.
Below it says Captain. There's something else, but we can't really read
Is it the same type of scratching as the old dates, or you think it's newer?
It's an older one.
This is the Masonic symbol right there with an 8. Don't know what that means, but sure means something.
After realizing he has no clue what he's looking at, he remembers a passage he noticed earlier, something about a skull buried under debris. So he digs, and what he uncovers isn't just a skull, it's a pile.
I think it is a raccoon. Aye, pretty really creepy.
However, after hours of digging, the team decides it's time to get out and heads for the surface. Besides all the unsettling discoveries they've made, the silver lining for Bo and his friends is that every animal they encountered was already dead. But that's not always the case, because these guys noticed tracks in the snow, but not just any tracks, huge cat prints. Justin and Dylan think they're on a routine hunt in Idaho and Washington, but what they're about to find is going to flip everything on its head.
On loose. Dang. It's a solid deer. And I should. On that Cougar's tracks right here, and then now he's joined up with like a bobcat track.
The tracks lead them straight to a cave entrance, covered in thick icicles. It's tight and small, the kind of place you don't want to get stuck in. But those prints and marks, they don't lie. Whatever left them might still be there.
We've got blood on the icicle going into this cave, and we just can't see back in there. It's a little sketchy.
Justin climbs up the cave with his phone and a weapon in hand.
Is he alive?
Yeah.
He sees what he believes to be a bloody, hungry cougar. Not wanting to take the risk, they leave, thinking they'll come back tomorrow.
And then look up.
Okay.
But when they return and shine the spotlight into the cave, something else shines back at them. That's when Justin decides to go deeper, and that's when he sees it.
Can't tell who's alive or dead.
Holy shit.
You see him?
He's just looking straight at me. I can't tell if he's alive or dead.
His eyes open or closed?
Open.
But before it can make its move, Justin takes action and takes it down.
Just get to where you can see it and shoot it in the face. What do you think? Good shot. Hey, come back on the
But what happens when a team of explorers goes to explore a mine only to find it riddled with potential evidence of a mass-scale child abduction ring? What you're about to see is the discovery that no one could have predicted. Connor Kelly is a small YouTuber who is visiting one of the mines in McCoy Mining District along with 3 others.
What we do is we head down into there.
This dead end.
I see some pretty crazy stuff.
These mines, which once produced millions of ounces of gold and silver, are now long abandoned. At an elevation of 5,400 feet, this mine seems like just another remote spot for exploration. But what they find is far from ordinary. At first, everything seems typical. The group goes deeper into the cave, but it doesn't take long before Connor notices something strange. The light from his flashlight catches something reflecting in the darkness.
So, do you see that reflection? They're trying to...
As the group decides to move closer, they realize they found themselves on the set of a real-life horror movie.
Okay, wait, don't move, wait. So that's bone over there? Yeah, that.
Check it out.
So this is more than a little disconcerting. It's just a pile of shoes and there's some bones in there.
Mind you, these aren't just any shoes. In fact, almost all of them are children's shoes. And among the shoes, there's bones scattered everywhere. And not just there, further down, there's something even scarier.
Wait, fall back, fall back. Wait.
Dude, let's let Shane take point here.
It appears that they discovered the remains of a large animal, possibly a coyote or deer, but at this point, that's the least of their concerns. These shoes tell a story. One will likely never know for sure. However, it's very possible this is the result of a human trafficking operation. In the United States alone, over 460,000 children go missing every year, and of that number, around 500 remain missing permanently. Of course, there's no way to know for certain if that's the case here, but whatever the case, Connor and his friends want nothing to do with it and quickly head towards the exit, escaping safely. Having a group in these kinds of situations is crucial, but what happens when a caver discovers something disturbing and possibly life-threatening while completely alone? Arguably, the #1 rule of caving: never go alone. But for Edward, this is just a recommendation. Choosing to drive 5 hours away from home to explore a cave only to find something that would make most people never go anywhere near a cave entrance again for the rest of their lives.
Somebody said there's a cave here and it's in the wall here in the crack. I'm hoping it's maybe up in those trees over there.
Right from the start, the cave is trying to warn him, but does he listen? Of course not.
Oh no, there's an animal living in here. There's fresh turds. I think I hear something. Oh gosh, this is a bad idea without a gun.
No knee pads, no proper gear, no weapon. Just a guy in a short sleeve shirt thinking he's invincible.
I think I broke the one rule of caving. That's the one rule. No, I didn't tell anybody my exit time. I gotta trust this rope.
Then he spots bear paw prints. This should have been his moment to turn back. Bears are territorial and extremely unpredictable. However, it seems Edward is as well, because instead of retreating, he keeps going.
Those are not raccoon tracks.
But Edward doesn't stop there. He stumbles upon a musical rock. Sounds cool, but the real story is still ahead.
That is cool. Boom. It's like a drum.
He starts seeing signs, not of an animal, but of something human.
What the heck is that? It's like... Oh, it's an old pocket knife. What happened? What was that handle made of? Whoa, look at this. Somebody made it back here with a homemade torch. They got some balls, I'll tell you that. Not me, not never. Not this far in.
Both of these things, a knife and a torch, have clear hints. Someone was in distress or fleeing in a hurry, maybe even trying to defend themselves, but still not enough to stop him. Then he finds it, a stone covered in blood, a lot of blood.
I think that's blood. Oh my god. Guys, I think there's actually blood up there.
At this point, Edward comes to his senses, finally deciding to retreat, but the question remains, was that blood from a human, or the blood of some animal's prey? Whatever it is, probably never made it back out. This next caver, however, found himself surrounded by something much more alive, although it wasn't easy to find. You see, most of the time, caves have clear entrances, something to let those about to enter get a glimpse of what they're in for.
We're trying to get in. This goes down the hill. We think we can get in here, and I don't have a lot of options, so we're gonna maybe try to break something open.
After a long struggle, he finally gets a crack wide enough to get in.
Well, it's quite muddy. Who knows what I'm putting my feet into, but I know I'm first in here because...
It's going in there with a bear.
Yep.
Even at this entrance, spiders are crawling everywhere, but these aren't just any spiders. You see, these ones have adapted to survive in hidden spaces, just like this one, avoiding human contact at all costs. Safe to say, they don't plan on being friendly towards Calvin.
Oh, this is not what I want. Hey, Jacob, I can feel them tickling my back. When the spiders feel threatened, they let off a smell. And, it is significant. I'm gonna show you the wall in a second.
When cave spiders feel threatened, they release a musty, earthy smell, kind of like a damp, decaying organic matter. It's not overpowering, but it lingers in the air. Luckily for Calvin, he has no sense of smell, or at the very least, he just doesn't care, so he keeps moving forward. However, things are about to get much worse.
They're raining down on me now. Can you see them? Hopefully you can see that, but they are kind of everywhere. I think I'm gonna get out of this pit.
His clothes were torn, he had bruises all over, but Calvin is committed to exploring this cave's full potential. Fortunately for him, this cave isn't all that big, and after a short trip underground, he's ready to exit. But if you think that cave is the last place on Earth you want to go, subscribe so you can watch someone else go instead.